production. Today we first begin with biogas production. Now biogas is extremely useful, has got several advantages or benefits, and that's why its large scale production is encouraged. Now in biogas production, as you know, repeatedly production can be done, so it is a renewable energy source and it is a good replacement or option for non-renewable or limited energy sources. Now let us see what is the composition of biogas. It is methane 50 to 60%, carbon dioxide 30 to 40%, hydrogen sulfide, and some other gases in traces. Now this particular biogas is highly inflammable, gives good amount of heat and no smoke, so it is a pollution free energy source. So that's why a good replacement, as I have mentioned, for renewable energy, non-renewable energy sources. Now, which are the raw materials that can be used for biogas production? Materials which are biodegradable. For example, plant waste, animal waste, then domestic waste, agricultural waste. Waste comes from towns, cities, villages, from forest. So any waste that can be decomposed can be used in biogas production. Now, for diagram, page number 264, there is a design of biogas plant given in the textbook. Now this diagram is important. There is a charge pit. Now charge pit means all the raw materials will be added in that pit. It is connected to the digester where actually microbial action on the waste material takes place. Then gas is generated. For collection of the gas, there is a gas holder and a separate outlet for this gas. And then waste material after biogas production which is obtained is sludge. Now this sludge is rich in nutrients, and that's why it can be a good quality fertilizer. So practically, in case of biogas production, there is nothing waste harmful generated. You are adding biodegradable waste, it gets decomposed, biogas is produced, and after production of biogas, sludge which is obtained is a good quality fertilizer. Now let us see which are the steps involved in this particular biogas production. Raw materials are mixed with water in equal proportion, and then they are added to this to this charge pit. In that first reaction in the digester which takes place is acidogenesis, which means that by the action of anaerobic organisms or bacteria, organic acids like formic acid, acetic acid, gases like hydrogen and carbon dioxide are produced. And then next set of reactions, they produce methane, and that's why methanogenesis. So these are again anaerobic methanogenic bacteria like Methanobacterium, Methanococcus. They produce further gases in methanogenesis reaction, and finally biogas is obtained. So students, for you, names of various microbes involved in biogas production, plus reactions under methanogenesis, plus diagram. These are important. And lastly, what are the benefits of biogas? It is a cheap, safe and renewable energy source. It can be transported. Then for lighting, cooking purpose, even in small scale industries as an energy source, it can be used. Then blue flame, which produces more heat but no smoke. This is again an important feature. Then you are getting rid of all biodegradable waste produced. So other issues which are caused due to this biodegradable waste decomposition, they are also taken care of. Then sludge which is obtained, as I told you, is a good quality fertilizer. So these benefits are also important. So all these points you are expected to learn. Now next part we are going to do is biocontrol. Now first of all I will explain to you what is this biocontrol and then we will do other details. Now biocontrol is related with agriculture. Now you know that in agriculture variety of crops are cultivated, but crops are often infected by microorganisms, insects, larvae, etc. And these infections are responsible for causing lot of damage to crop plants. So what is normally done by farmers in order to control these infections? There are pesticides used. Okay, now these pesticides are manufactured in industries and they are synthetic pesticides. But these pesticides, they have some other issues or problems. Like pesticides cannot be used in a very concentrated form because they are poisonous. So these pesticides, they will cause soil pollution, air pollution. When they mix with water, they will cause water pollution. Even pesticides, if they are left on plants or crops, there is a possibility that they may enter bodies of other organisms. Suppose crops, if eaten by birds, these pesticides would enter bird's body. Crop materials, that is the leftover part of the crop, if it is fed to animals as a food source, then in those animals pesticides are likely to enter, and this is how through food chain these pesticides pass on from one level to the other. And very bad part is these pesticides, they accumulate in the cells, and when they are passed on to the next level, their concentration increases. This is called bioaccumulation and biomagnification, that is level magnifies. So obviously effects of pesticides inside those organisms or animals are going to be more serious. So these are some of the problems associated with pesticides. Even pesticides will kill organisms randomly, which means pesticide will kill useful as well as harmful organisms. So many a times if useful ones are killed, that is also responsible for causing imbalance in the ecosystem. We will lose some useful organisms required by environment or even by us. So that's why application of synthetic pesticides beyond a certain limit has so many negative points, and that's why a solution is biocontrol. Now, what is done in biocontrol is one organism is used to control growth of pathogens or such disease causing organisms which are harming the crops. Okay, so here in case of biocontrol, there is one name, Bacillus thuringiensis. This is a bacterium. Now this bacterium has a gene. It is called Bt gene. And this gene proves to be very useful in controlling growth of some other organisms. So, this particular Bt gene is very useful in killing larvae, and that's why Bt varieties, that is varieties of cotton or brassica, they have this particular Bt gene. Those crops have that Bt gene inside, and then they are cultivated. So in other words, what I want to say is crop variety can be modified, can be improved by adding this Bt gene, and automatically larvae growth which are attacking that particular crop can be controlled. Then there are trichoderma species which are again very useful in order to control pest or pathogen attack. Then if you see textbook page number 265, there are names of pathogens and their hosts. So I'll read out these names. So again, this table is going to be important for your exam point of view. Bacillus thuringiensis, Bacillus papilli, and Bacillus lentimorbus are effective against caterpillars, cabbage worm, adult beetles, etc. Then species of fungi, they are useful against aphids, mealybugs, mites, white flies, etc. So those fungi species are Beauveria bassiana, then Entomophothora, Zoophthora. So these are some species which are extremely effective. Then protozoans, Nosema, useful against grasshoppers, caterpillars, etc. There are viruses NPV and GV, that is granulovirus, useful against caterpillars, gypsy moth, wasps, ants, beetles, etc. So this is how one organism controls growth of other pathogen. This is one part in biocontrol. And another thing is, from organisms, they may be microbes, they may be plants, there are certain chemicals obtained, and these chemicals are again useful in order to control growth of pests and pathogens. So those are bioherbicides. So here, in case of bioherbicides also, there are fungi, then Phytophthora, Palmivora, fusarium species. These are very commonly used. Then in bacteria, Pseudomonas, Xanthomonas and Agrobacterium. These are common species used in controlling pests and pathogens. So again, these names are important. And now last part we will do is microorganisms as biofertilizers. Now biofertilizer means it is a fertilizer but where you are adding a living organism into soil. Usually what happens is compost, if we take, compost is obtained as a result of decomposition of biodegradable waste. Okay. And then compost once obtained is added to soil as a fertilizer. But here, in case of biofertilizer, nothing after decomposition is added, directly a living organism is added to the soil. So here the benefit is once a microbe is added into the soil, it is a living organism, it will multiply. So repeated additions is avoided or it is not needed because otherwise for compost etc. repeatedly addition needs to be done. Now these microbes which are used as biofertilizers, they provide nitrogen, then compounds of phosphorus, then even in decomposition action they are useful, and there are cyanobacteria which are useful. So let us see some examples and their mechanisms of action. For example, rhizobium, azotobacter, clostridium. These are some bacteria. Now what these bacteria do? They convert nitrogen gas into nitrogen compounds. This is called nitrogen fixation. And this nitrogen is used by plants. Remember that plants they need lot of nitrogen to prepare amino acids and then proteins. Even if level of nitrogen is good in the soil, we call soil to be fertile. So this is how even for improvement of soil contents or nutrients, these biofertilizers are useful. Then phosphate solubilizing biofertilizers are also added. So these bacterial organisms or species, they solubilize insoluble phosphate from rocks. See, sometimes rocks have lot of phosphorus, but that phosphorus can't be directly used by plants. So it needs to be converted into other form so that plants can be will be able to absorb that phosphorus. So such microbes are there. Then compost making biofertilizers are there. So organic material is converted into compost or humus by these microbes. And cyanobacteria. Now cyanobacteria are commonly called blue-green algae. So blue-green algae proves to be very effective for paddy or rice cultivation because these are blue-green algae which need water for survival. Similarly, if you see rice cultivation or paddy cultivation, lot of water is required, and that's how if cyanobacterial biofertilizer is used for rice crop, rice production increases. Then there are fungal biofertilizers called mycorrhiza. Now these mycorrhiza, they may grow externally, that is ectomycorrhiza, or they may grow internally in the roots of the plant, endomycorrhiza. So these mycorrhiza, this is a fungus, this will externally cover the root surface, or it may live inside cortex part of the root. Now what is the role of mycorrhiza? These mycorrhiza, they absorb variety of minerals from soil like phosphorus, copper, zinc, iron, etc. So this is how, in addition to roots, lot of minerals are available. Water absorption is also done by these. There are hormones which are produced by them, and they also offer protection to the host plant. So this is how, in addition to the root system and fertilizers which are added, mycorrhiza, they provide nutrients and other benefits to the crops or plants so that they grow better, and they are also protected from infections or diseases. So this is how we have completed variety of microbes and their roles in day-to-day life. In the last part of the lesson, there are some biofertilizers given as rhizobium, azotobacter, azospirillum, anabina, and azolla. So these important names are given in the book. Now what you have to remember for these biofertilizer and the crop for which these are useful, this you have to remember. Okay, so this is enhancement of food production. So learn all the examples and their applications very well. We will do some other chapter next time. Thank you.